let me tell everybody a little bit how I know you, Lisa. So Lisa and I have worked together for years on lots of fashion shoots. We've been to LA, we've been to Mexico, all these gorgeous places that we only dream about going to at the moment, don't we?
In our old life, yes.
In our old life.
I was a makeup artist and you were a stylist.
I know. So who
I
knows?
became a cleaner and a cook and a laundry expert.
I know, that's it. But I have to say, I took out my makeup bag today to put on the side, and I looked at the items, and I have to say about 80% of them you've actually told me to get. So it is actually, it's a totally real makeup tutorial that we're going to do today. So when I got married, I actually went round to Lisa's house, and she actually gave me a lesson of what to do, what products to get, and for what skin types as well, because so many different skin types and different products need to be used.
Yes, definitely. And I think especially on your wedding day, because there's so much pressure to look your absolute best on your wedding day, and you know, you want to get it right. And I always say it's not a day to experiment with your makeup. I think it's important that you kind of, you know, whatever your vibe is, that you stick to that vibe, but you just want to look like you on a really, really good day. You don't want to look back at those pictures and be like, why did I wear a purple lipstick when you've never worn a purple lipstick in your life?
And so, you see that so often, don't you? And you're just like, oh my God, what have you done to yourself? You're so beautiful. And
I think that's the thing. I think sometimes on your wedding, if you have the opportunity to have a professional makeup artist, you can be wrong in that. I think it's definitely advisable to, you know, to listen to what a professional makeup artist has to say. But I think equally it's about you, and it's about how you feel comfortable. You know, you don't want to surprise your husband or wife as you walk down the aisle on your wedding day. You want to be recognizable.
Exactly. So let's start at the very beginning. Okay, so I've put on a primer, which I've put on the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow. Which I have to say, I bought this. This is probably one of my new products that I bought on lockdown, and I just love it because I can even just put this on without foundation, and it just makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, your skin looks amazing. You look really, really fresh. But before we get to the primer, can I just talk about skin?
Rewind.
Yes, just very, very quickly. So there's a few things that I love to do, particularly with brides, and it's just most brides, not all brides, most brides want to look quite glowy, but not oily. And quite often they ask me to sort of bronze them up a little bit, depending on your skin tone. So there's two products that I always use, and I actually use them on myself. Yeah. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I'm a huge fan of this product, and this is Kate McIver Secret Weapon. Now this is a serum, it's an oil serum, however it's super light and it gives you that beautiful glowy skin. So I like to put this on,
and you put that on before you put your primer on, so after your moisturizer.
Yes. But what I have just discovered, and I can't stop using this, and this is by Saint Tropez, this is basically, it's a hyaluronic acid tanner, but it's so gentle, and you put a few drops of this on in the morning. So I would put that on before a serum, and this just warms your skin.
So is that a spray or is it a lotion? The Saint Tropez?
It's basically, it's a lotion, it's a clear gel.
Right.
And it doesn't give you a build-up, so it just gives you that lovely, natural, glowy, lightly tan skin. So this is perfect for somebody who, you know, wants to have a bit of color. You could start to use this sort of a week or two before your wedding, and then continue to use it, you know, during your honeymoon. Or, I mean, I use it every day, and I love the fact that it has the
having a bit of tan on though just makes you feel so much more healthy, doesn't it?
And also if you're a bit tired, if you haven't slept well the night before, I always think it hides a multitude of sins. So I would start with that, and then I would put on my favorite Secret Weapon, which is a serum. And this is, I think it's coming up back to front. But anyway, this is a lovely glowy serum, so I would pop that on. And if I'm getting a bride ready, quite often I would do that while I'm having the hair done. So it just gives it the opportunity to sort of soak into the skin.
Yeah.
Now we're at your stage, primer stage.
So primer. So honestly, before I met you, I didn't really bother with primers. I was straight onto the foundation on. So yes, Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow.
Yeah, love that product.
I've loved. And then the foundation that you recommended to me for my wedding, which I still use now actually, which is the MAC Super soft, super sculpt.
Yes.
Super sculpt? Studio sculpt, sorry.
Studio sculpt, yeah, because you got married abroad, didn't you? You got married in Mykonos.
Yes.
So you did your own makeup, and you wanted me to recommend some products that were going to work in that environment. So the reason I like to use a primer is because it just gives your makeup that longevity. It helps everything stay on much longer, and it means you don't have to pile on lots and lots of foundation. So even if you need extra coverage, then I'm going to talk you through a few different foundations that will help achieve that.
Because you know what, with this one, when I tell people I use this, they're always really surprised because they say it's such a full coverage. However, do you remember when you recommended to me the Marc Jacobs one?
Yes. Yes.
This brush is like the god.
Because you're buffing it in.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think when you're using a full coverage foundation, that is the secret. And I'm going to talk to you actually because lots of brides do want to have a full coverage and they want their makeup to last. They want to have their makeup done in the morning and then they want it to still be there in the evening. So I always like to have a little bit of luxe in my makeup. And I think your wedding day, and you don't have to use this, but your wedding day is a day to treat yourself. So Sicily do this lovely primer, and this actually is an instant glow primer, and it's slightly iridescent, so it has a slight iridescent.
Oh, look at that. That's lovely.
So that, I mean, that is so beautiful, and I don't actually put it all over. I tend to sort of focus on the you know, the cheeks and that area because you don't want to look too shiny. So I would put something like that on, and then when that's kind of rubbed in, you just get that really
that's lovely, isn't it?
Lovely, lovely glow. Now, depending on your skin type and your preference as to coverage, I'm a big fan, actually, another MAC makeup is Face and Body. Now, this is one of the few foundations that really looks like skin. It's also great because it doesn't transfer onto clothes. So if you're having your makeup done for your wedding, always make sure you put a scarf over your face if your dress is going over your head.
Yeah, definitely.
Mark the dress. But Face and Body is brilliant for, you know, it doesn't transfer. It's also great to use if you wanted to use it if you had a strapless dress, you wanted to have it on your shoulders or on your legs, and it's not going to go anywhere. And it's very buildable, but it's only good if you've got very, very good skin. Then use a concealer with that sort of under the eyes and around the nose. If you wanted to have a more matte finish, then Armani, they do some great foundations. This one is the Maestro, and it has an SPF 15. So getting married abroad or during the summer, and you want to have some SPF coverage, but also this has quite a matte finish.
Okay.
And then I've got Ilamasca. Now this is great for full coverage. So if you have problematic skin, if you have very red skin or skin that tends to be quite broken or veiny, then this is great. This is a great product, and this lasts all day. This is not going to go anywhere. And again, even though, don't be put off by the fact that it says full coverage, because like you mentioned, you can use a big buffing brush, start in the middle of your face and really work it into your skin and just add extra where you think you might need it.
Yeah, I mean, this brush is just so good. I just can't recommend this enough, the one from Marc Jacobs, because it really is. It just blends everything in everywhere.
Well, it kind of does all the work for you, and because it covers a large area as well, it's very easy to blend everything in.
Yes. Okay. So we've got the primer. Now we've got the foundation.
Yeah.
Now concealer for under eyes.
Okay. So concealer, you need to be really careful with concealer on your wedding day because you don't want to use anything that's too light reflecting. So products like Touche Éclat, they're not going to work under your eyes on your wedding day. And the reason being is you're going to have a photographer there and there's going to be flash photography. And what you don't want to do is end up with silver around your eyes. So I tend to stick to a product that's quite creamy and that doesn't have that, you know, sort of flashback that you'll get from some makeup products. What an amazing concealer is Laura Mercier.
Yeah, lovely. I haven't tried that one actually, but I've heard great things about it.
Yes, this you can use. I mean, you can see I've been using this one. This you can use under the eyes. It's great for blemishes. If you want to use a really supernatural foundation, you can then build up where you need to with the Laura Mercier. So I would definitely recommend that for everybody. It comes in amazing skin tones as well, so it covers all skin tones.
Lovely. The one I've used today is by Terry.
Yes, lovely.
And this is the medium peach. And the reason I love this one is it never really clogs or sets in my kind of fine lines. It's really creamy, as you said.
Also, a bit of peach under the eye is one of the best colours that you can use to get rid of any dark circles or blue tones. Bobbi Brown also do an amazing concealer, and it's called Peach. And that's brilliant. Yeah, a little bit of peach under the eyes, super flattering.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so that's as far as I got, really. So then, where are we going next? Bronzer?
Yes, get some bronzer on. Yes.
Yes.
I've been using some the NARS bronzer, and this is the Laguna.
Yeah.
So it's quite matte. I don't want anything too shiny, and I like to use a big brush and just kind of go. I mean, I use it kind of as half bronzer, half contour. So I'll show you what I would do.
So I'm using Chanel. What colour is it? Number 21, Turunga. Only because I normally use MAC Golden Glow, but they've run out everywhere and I haven't been able to get it. So I had to delve into the bottom of my beauty cupboard, and that's what I found.
I think the thing with bronzer is just not, what you don't want to do is create a really muddy finish on your skin. So you spent all this time, you know, prepping your skin.
Lisa, just one question. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had a question. Can pale English rose complexions use bronzer?
Yes, 100%. You just need to find a tone or a shade. That's Alex. Hi, Alex. that is, I'd say 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. So all brands do bronzers, and the thing with bronzers is you use different shades for different skin tones. And what you want to do is just to create some warmth to the skin. So actually, a bronzer is amazing for sort of an English rose fair skin. Now, what I would do is I wouldn't go too much all over the face, because, like I was saying, you don't want to...
Here we go, flat rest already.
No, you don't want to create a really muddy finish on your skin, and you can do that quite easily with a bronzer. So I would tend to sort of go under the cheekbones and around the hairline. And I'm just kind of using that a bit like contour as well. I mean, I haven't got much on the brush because I've already got some on. But if you do this all over, what you're doing is you're then changing the finish of your foundation. You want to keep your foundation looking like skin. You want to keep it looking fresh, and so you don't want to go all over, particularly if your bronzer is quite matte.
And am I right in saying if you've got really good skin, you don't need to put foundation everywhere on your face?
No, you don't. I mean, foundation really only needs to go where you need it. And I think it's, you know, when we sort of grow up going to beauty counters and they put foundation all over us, and we seem to think that that's the way to apply. But actually, foundation is there to look like you have really even skin tone. So if you just need it a bit around your nose or on your cheeks, I always like to start in the middle of my face, because that's where I tend to need the most coverage, and then just buff it out. And then if I need a bit more, I'll go back in, but you don't have to put it everywhere. Definitely.
Okay, I think I've got enough on there.
Lovely.
A bit more.
Yeah, keep going. And just when you think you've got enough, put some more on.
Yeah, exactly.
Really nice.
Exactly, Lisa.
Now, I love a bit of highlighter, and I think that's what brings the glow to your skin.
Okay.
So you don't want to go too crazy again. It's a bit like I was talking earlier about under eye concealers being very light reflective. You don't want to look metallic on your wedding pictures. No. So using a highlighter is about just creating that lovely glow on your skin. So I have been using MAC actually, and this is a little miniature one. It's the strobe cream, and I love strobe cream. It's quite...
Now, did you put highlighter on before you put blusher on?
I'm going to put the highlighter on now, yes.
Oh.
So this really works into the skin, and that's got...
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Strobe cream. So this, you can really, really blend it in. So you just get that very natural sheen.
The highlighter I've got here is from the Charlotte Tilbury palette. So
yeah, that powder one.
Yeah, I've got the highlighter just here.
Yeah, so I would just use that on the top. I mean, you don't need to be, you know, I've got a big brush like you, so I'm just going over the tops of my cheeks like that. And you can put a little bit on the end of your nose if you want, but don't go too crazy. And a really good trick is if you have a source of light in front of you, so a window, just turn your face to the side and have a look, you know, where that looks beautiful, where that light is catching your skin. You don't want to sort of have it all around here because you'll end up just looking greasy, particularly in your so yeah, so just, you know, on your cheekbones. And then I like to apply the blush after. And the reason I do it that way around is because I like to use a cream blusher, particularly
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Because it just gives that real freshness to your skin. I mean, you don't have to use a cream blusher. There's some equally gorgeous powder blushes around as well. But I'm a huge fan of the Bobbi Brown Calypso. And it looks bright in there. But if you just, I've just been using the same brush actually the whole time. But if I just put a little bit on, and you can see, it's just really lovely apricot-y. It's very flattering. It's very warming. And then if you wanted a more of a bronzy kind of blusher, then again, this is by Bobbi Brown. This is called Uber Beige. And this is a cream blusher. And this is, if you don't like that kind of English rose pinky cheek and you wanted something a bit sort of more sultry and a bit more bronzy, then this is a great colour. Yeah, Uber Beige, number 28.
I've got the Milk Makeup.
Oh, I love Milk.
Cheek.
Let me see the colour. What's it called?
So it's
divine.
the lips and cheek one. So it's like, it's quite.
And just if you do a smile and then just get that's it, onto the apples of your cheeks. That's lovely. And keep going round until you've really warmed that into your skin.
I'm going to use a different brush.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's such a good colour, this is. And lovely Zana, who, it's her little baby. I used to work with Mary Claire, so it's always good to support the old NC lot.
Love that. So already your skin is starting to come to life. It's starting to have that really fresh glow. Okay, so now I'm going to start with your eyebrow. Do you have any brow products with you?
Yes, I've got the Precision My Brow Pencil from Benefit. Okay,
lovely. So does that have a brush on the end?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to just give your brows a little brush up.
Okay. So this is number 3.
Yeah, so I've got an hourglass one, same sort of thing. So just going to start by brushing up the brows. And then the way I like to do my brows is just to do little hair strokes like that.
I might just have to get a mirror for this.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, and that's going to give you a more of a natural looking brow as opposed to a sort of really drawn on brow.
Yeah, I think before getting married though, I never really bothered about a brow pencil, and now I couldn't live without it, to be honest with you.
Once you get used to doing your brows, you can never go back. Also, a little top tip to make sure that you're really blended with your eyebrows is to take your brush at the end of your brow and then run it in the opposite direction like that, and then just brush back up, and that'll just make sure that everything's really blended.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
let's do the other one.
Aim to please.
See, I'm learning. Every day's a school day.
Yes, and if you wanted to, and I would definitely suggest doing this, is I don't know if you have one, but it's to use a brow gel.
Oh yes, I have got one.
If you have
what other brow products are good? Brow pencils.
Well, I've just used the Hourglass one. I love that. I love Tom Ford and MAC. They all do great brow pencils. You need to be careful with a brow pencil, and always use a brow pencil and not an eye pencil, because brow pencils are much stiffer. They're not as waxy, and they tend to give you a more of a natural looking finish, as opposed to using a brown eyeliner, which would end up looking very drawn on. I've got quite full brows, so I love to use a clear gel. This one is by Auschka. And then I'm just going to brush my eyebrows up using that.
And I've got the Benefit one again, which is the brow set.
Yeah, actually Benefit do really great brow products as well. Super nice.
I'm coming back to life. I'm coming back to life.
Yes, gorgeous. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the eyes. Now, obviously every bride is different. So this is just something that I've kind of done on myself. Or hang on, we've got a question. No matter what it is, my brows go out of place. As soon as I get my hair full of my face, it's a wax good. I've heard about soap brows. Soap brows are very good, actually. So soap brows, you have like, it's like a little tin of soap, and then you have a coconut water that you spray onto it, and it just kind of, you know, gets the emollients going, and then you brush them up. Anastasia does a great brow fixer, a great brow gel, and that doesn't budge. Sometimes models come to work and I go to do their brows and I can't move them, and I'm like, what have you got on your eyebrows? And it's always the Anastasia brow gel. So if you can't fall out of place, that's brilliant. Also a bit of hairspray on a spoolie. That also.
Oh yes, good idea.
Yeah. So eyes, I love to use, and I've used it for years and I use it on everybody, is MAC Groundwork. I probably used it on you as well when I was doing your makeup. The reason I love this color is because, well, first of all, it's a very, you know, for sort of natural skin, like neutral skin tones, it's a very flattering shade. It's a sort of a warm mushroomy shade. But the reason I love it is because it's a paint pot, it doesn't budge. So you can use it on its own. I would just use it on the eyelid, and that's going to stop any eyeshadow from creasing. So, I mean, you're using your finger. I would probably use a brush, but that's absolutely fine. I would probably use
I can use a brush
like this and just put that all over my eyelid. And I can either leave that as it is, or I can use it to layer other colors on top. But if you're somebody who finds that your makeup creases, then this is going to stop that from happening. Or if you have oily eyelids. So yeah, small amount, just start sort of in the middle, and then, yeah, that's it.
It's so nice as a base, this is, though. I've used it so much.
Yeah, it's just, and they do lots and lots of different shades. So if you have darker skin tones, they do darker shades, they do lighter shades. So good for all skin tones. You're welcome, Sharon.
Okay.
And just keep going backwards and forwards just to make sure that you're really nice and blended. Super. Okay. And I think also one of the key to wedding makeup is to use products that are quite long wear. You know, because you don't want your makeup to be falling off, and you don't want to be worrying about your makeup either. You want to be kind of off celebrating and having a fun time.
Yeah. I have to admit, after mine was done in the morning, I'd got all my bag with my touch-ups. I didn't go back to it once.
Yeah, that's what
you start having a few drinks, and then it's
exactly.
like, oh well.
Exactly. So I mean, what I've actually put on myself is I've just done a little line over my lash line, and I've used Black Magic by Ico. And this, because I've got quite hooded eyes, so this doesn't transfer on me, because when I look straight, my eyelids hit.
Is that a liquid liner?
It's a pen, so it's really easy to use.
Oh, look at that.
But what I do, I just push it into my lashes. So I'm not sitting there trying to draw a line. I'm just going, like, tracing it along my lash line. However, if you're not confident enough to do that, then I would suggest having a small brush like that. Yeah. And then maybe using some, you know, a darker eyeshadow.
Okay, let's try that then.
That's a bit softer, and just running that along your top lash line, actually, and the bottom lash line as well. And that's just going to give you some definition on your eyes.
Okay. Bear with me.
I'm bearing with you. I mean, I think also it's, you know, it's a really good idea if you're going to be doing your own wedding makeup to just have a practice, you know, try some different products out, take some selfies, try your makeup in the morning, and, you know, take some selfies throughout the day, see how the makeup lasts, and see on camera. And also, if you're having a professional makeup artist, then definitely I would suggest doing a trial.
How soon before the wedding do you think you should do the trial? Do you need to have the dress, do you think, before you do the trial?
I think it's a good idea to have the dress, but more importantly, I think it's good to do the trial as close to your wedding day as you can fit it in, because that way you're the color that you're going to be. You know, you're not suddenly going to go off on holiday somewhere, or if you're having Botox, or, you know, any of these things, you look how you're going to look on your wedding day. You've probably had your dress already. You've decided what you're going to do with your hair, and that's how you're going to look. So I would definitely suggest, I wouldn't do it 6 months in advance, that's for sure.
No.
It's also really helpful to have, you know, if there's any that you love, it's really helpful to have that with you. And another thing is never ever be embarrassed to say to the makeup artist on your trial that you're not happy and that you want to try something different, because that is the whole point of having that trial. So a makeup artist would feel awful if on the day you recreated the makeup but you didn't really like it, but you were too embarrassed to say. So always say, actually, it's too much blush, or, you know, I'm not sure there's too much eyeliner, or I prefer something a bit softer or a bit stronger. That's
and is it worth having a trial maybe in the morning and wearing it throughout the day just for fun, kind of thing, just to see how it works, what comes off, what stays put?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would definitely, you know, whether you're having it done freshly or whether or not you're doing it yourself, is put the makeup on and then just wear it for the day. See how it feels. See how it looks, you know, 5 hours after it's been applied.
Have a cry.
Have a cry. Do some selfies as well. Take some pictures. Maybe show it to your best friend or your mom, or see what they think. But also just do what you want to do as well, and what feels good and what feels right for you.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Totally.
So I'm looking divine. Okay.
Yes, much better.
So you got some nice definition there. Lots of brides like to have eyelash extensions. So again, that's something that you would want to do as close to your wedding day as possible. So that they're nice and fresh. You have the most amazing lashes. You have
But you know what? I did have a couple of individuals in on the day, yes. And it did just add that little va-va-voom, I have to say.
And it just makes you feel a little bit more glamorous and a bit more special. I always like to give my lashes a little curl.
What would you suggest for individual eyelashes? Would there be a brand that you would suggest for that if you're going to have them put on by a makeup artist on the day, or just the ones that would stay for a day?
Yes, I mean, Isla do great individual lashes, and they do them in different lengths as well. So you can sort of, maybe if you just wanted a half set, you could have smaller ones in the middle, sort of fanning out to slightly, you know, fuller lashes on the outer corner, and it just gives your eyes that little bit more definition. But there's so great lashes out there now, but also just going to a salon and having them done professionally, particularly if you're then, you know, heading off somewhere on honeymoon. And
how long do they last for? Because I've got long eyelashes. I've never ever had my eyelashes done.
I have them all the time. I don't have to.
Do you?
Yeah, they look, mine look good for about 3 weeks, and then they need to be filled in. So you just need to take care of them. You can't use any oil-based products around your eyelashes, and I need to brush them through. But I find when I have lashes on, I don't really need to put that much makeup on, particularly not on my
You just feel finished, don't you? It's like when you have your eyelashes dyed or something. It's that same kind of thing.
Yeah. So mascaras always have, if you're not wearing false eyelashes, then always use a waterproof mascara. Sorry, my phone. Always use a waterproof mascara.
Yeah.
Because the chances are you're probably going to shed a tear or two on your wedding day. My mum's just joined.
Hello. Oh, hi, Lisa's mum.
My mum's makeup on her wedding day.
Thank you. I'm impressed she knows how to get onto stories, Lisa. That's an achievement for a mum, isn't it?
Tech savvy. So we even had a Zoom quiz the other day. But yes, always use a waterproof mascara. You don't want to be sobbing on your wedding day. You probably will be. Have big black puddles running down your face. MAC do one called Extended Play. And this is brilliant because even though it's not classed as a waterproof mascara, it doesn't smudge, and it's really easy to remove. So you can shed a little tear and it's not going to run down your face. But equally, you're not going to have to spend hours trying to sort of get it off in the evening. And it has a really small little brush, so you can get every single eyelash, and also great for the bottom lashes as well. Ico Sport Mascara. This is by Ico.
What's that one?
This is Sport Mascara. So again, it's another, but this has a thicker brush. So if you have really, really kind of long lashes, you might prefer to use something like this with a fuller brush. Yeah. But again, proof.
So on my wedding day, and what I'm using all the time now, because I much prefer it, is the DHC, but it's one of the tubular ones. So to get it off, you just wet your fingers. Because you know, all of this, before when I was wearing normal mascaras, you know, scraping my face a lot, and I find my eyes react a lot better to me not doing that anymore.
I always use a tubular mascara because, again, because I have the hooded eyes. Yeah. if those that don't know, a tubular mascara, basically, it's almost like a coating of plastic on your eyelashes. And if you rub your eyes or when you come to take it off, it comes off in like little black tubes as opposed to kind of smudgy black mascara. The only thing is with that on your wedding day, it's not 100% waterproof. So you could end up with little black flecks on your cheeks. But for every day, they're the best mascaras. I use one by Kevin Aucoin, and they're brilliant. I love them. Look at the eyelashes.
I'm back.
Oh, there she is.
It's so funny coming back on here with no makeup on, and you look like you've got a ring light here. It's like, ooh, that's a bit
you
scary.
look amazing. You should get makeup on.
I know. I'm like, where am I going now?
No, all dressed up and nowhere to go.
And then finally, we've got the lips.
Yeah. Okay, so what I forgot to mention actually was sort of at the beginning of your makeup, I would always apply lip balm.
Yes.
I mean, I love this Lucas Pawpaw lip balm, but I would always put a lip balm on just to sort of keep your lips nice and hydrated. And lipstick is very personal. What I would always suggest is if you're having your makeup done by a professional, take your own lipstick with you, because that way you can put it in your bag and you can just reapply throughout the day. At the moment, I love Burt's Bees. They're really moisturizing. They do these gorgeous, really chubby. They're like blushes, but you can see they've got like full of moisturizer in the middle.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Is
that a Burt's Bees one?
These are sorry.
Is that Burt's Bees?
Yes. These are lip and cheek tints, but they come in all sorts of different colors. So these are great if you wanted to have sort of quite a natural looking lip. You didn't want anything that was sort of too statementy, and you didn't want to worry too much if it comes off. So this is going to give you that really nice.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, I need to get some of that.
Also, a really great way to test your lip color if you want to go for something very natural is to test it on your fingertip, because your fingertip is the closest color to your lip. So instead of testing it on the back of your hand, just rub a little bit in a store if responsible.
Oh, that's a good idea, isn't it?
And that is going to give you some sort of idea as to how that's going to look, because what you don't want to do is have something so pale that you look like you've got concealer on your lips. You still want the lips to look natural. So I think
with some nudes that sometimes happens, doesn't it?
Yes,
it does look a bit concealer-like.
Yes. So if you wanted sort of so that's great if you just want something super natural. You don't need to think about it. Have it in your bag. Top it up every now and again, almost like a tinted lip balm. If you wanted something a bit more done, then I would suggest using a lip liner. Something like, I mean, this is MAC Spice. Yeah. So it's quite a nudie sort of shade.
Lovely.
It's kind of that sort of rosy shade. And I would line all your lips and then fill them in with the lip liner. And that's going to make your lipstick last much longer. And then I would go over with your favorite sort of nudie lip color. Cicely do a gorgeous one.
Well, that's a great packaging, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. This is called Phyto Lip Twist. This is number 11. This is beautiful. Or Charlotte Tilbury, she has her lovely Pillow Talk, which is very, very popular. This is a really gorgeous nude. It's a bit more of a sort of a glamorous nude.
Yeah.
And also somebody asked some questions actually about matte nudes. So I haven't got any with me, but there's one by Huda Beauty do one, and it's called Anniversary. That's a really beautiful matte nude. And also Elf do really super cheap. They do amazing liquid mattes. This is an Elf.
I've never heard of that brand before.
Elf is it's a very kind of cheap brand, but you don't need to spend a fortune on your lipstick.
No.
Put your money into skincare, put your money into your foundation. This has got a really nice kind of natural, lovely.
Yeah, because I wasn't a fan of any kind of colour in my lips, and you suggested to me the Fenty Beauty lip gloss, which was heaven, because it kind of just doesn't really, it's a tiny bit of colour, but nothing too much.
Yeah, and also you're going to be eating and drinking and kissing people hello, and I think if you go too much on your lips and then it starts to wear off, it's really going to affect how your makeup looks. So I mean, unless you want to, you know, a statement lip, I would definitely suggest using something which, if it comes off, your makeup is still going to look fabulous. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, excellent. Now we've just got a couple more questions, Lisa, that were sent in earlier.
Sure.
So airbrushing, someone was talking about makeup airbrushing. Do you have to have this done by a professional, or can people airbrush their faces with foundation themselves?
Okay, so airbrush comes in a system, and it's almost like, it's like a gun which you put your airbrush foundation into, and then it puts a whole sort of very light spray of foundation onto your face. Airbrush does give you that very flawless finish. A lot of people in TV tend to use it.
It's quite thick.
It tends to give you one color all over.
Right.
And it's also a very expensive investment. In the machine alone is normally a couple of £100, and then you've got to add your foundations into that. I mean, you can airbrush your whole makeup, you can airbrush your eyeshadows, your lipstick. I mean, you have people that specialize in it, but you can get airbrush foundations, which are not technically an airbrush. Charlotte Tilbury does one. It's airbrush flawless finish, and that's quite a matte foundation. So if you did want to have that very kind of, you know, foundation-y flawless finish, then I would go for like something like the Charlotte Tilbury or a long wear foundation, or, you know, maybe find a makeup artist that does specialize in airbrush. And it kind of takes your features away, and then you build them back in. But there's a brand called Tempt You and Dinair. They're the two main companies that do airbrush.
Excellent. God, I've learnt so much, Lisa. One last question.
Yes.
Finishing sprays.
Yes.
Or finishing powder. Just to finish the look, what would you suggest to do? And throughout the day, you know, if we get a bit shiny, you know, I had these for my wedding day, which were the, I treated myself to Chanel, the little powders. And I've never used them since my wedding day since.
Yes, they're amazing. So I like to use an invisible powder. In Fenty, they do a great invisible powder. It's completely invisible. So that will take away any shine. Really nice to use sort of around the nose or the forehead. Also, MAC do Prep and Prime, which is, again, they look very white, but these are suitable for all skin tones. So when you put them on, they just disappear and they mattify. The most genius thing I think I've discovered is this by Kate Somerville.
Oh.
Now, this is a makeup setting spray, but it also has SPF 50. So this is brilliant if, again, you're getting married outside, or it's a destination wedding and you want to have some SPF on and you want your makeup to last that much longer. This is great. Or if it's a winter wedding and you don't need to have an SPF, then something like more setting spray. I don't generally use setting sprays on a sort of a day-to-day basis, but I do think for your wedding day, it is a good idea. It does definitely make everything last that much longer.
Perfect. Oh my goodness, Lisa, you've been so amazing. Now, if anyone wants to get in touch with Lisa, you can come via us or directly to her. She's doing Zoom tutorials. She can even come and do your makeup on your wedding day when we're allowed to touch each other again, which hopefully won't be too far away.
And a visor.
Exactly. She can be one of your 5 guests at your wedding to do your makeup.
Yes, exactly.
But we've learned such amazing tips. I know I learn stuff from you every time we go on a shoot. I'm always like, oh, what's that? What's that? What do I need to know?
I learn when I'm around other makeup artists. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? I always learn, from other makeup artists. And I think I love watching people put their makeup on. I mean, not in a judgy way, but I just find it fascinating. Seeing women apply their makeup. And I think, we're always learning, and there's always so many different products coming out. But I definitely would say that your wedding day is the day to, just be the best version of yourself. And,
Absolutely.
Maybe sort of listen to your makeup artist if you have a professional, and take on board what they have to say. Maybe they might suggest something which, would make a huge difference, but equally just be your own boss and do what feels good for you.